Bossman Show, friend of the show, Coach Steve Smiley, Northern Colorado Bears out of the Big Sky Conference. Got 3-1 on the year, man, so far. Got a nice break coming up here. Not that they wanted it. They got a break, but they're going to enjoy it. Coach Smiley, what's up, brother? How you doing, man?
It's good to see you, boss, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. Now, things are good.
I hear that, man. I mean, excuse me, you 8-8 on the year already. Play some tough opponents during the non-league schedule. Tell me about that, how they prepared your guys for the Big Sky, which we always know is a hard league every year. Now, people should know about it, but they don't know. They know because you guys play so late out there on our side of this country here. But right. You all play some tough ball out there, man. Very quality stuff you guys got going on in the Big Sky Conference.
No question. And I think our non-league was brutal. I think at one point our non-league strength of schedule was 19th in the country, top 20 in the country in terms of one of the hardest schedules out there. And so, it just kind of dropped that way where, you're playing Texas. I think at the time we played them, they were 6th or 7th in the country. Arizona, when we played them, they were number 1 in the net. Colorado State, which is right down the road, but they're top 25 in the country right now. Washington State, which is floating around top 50. So, and even beyond that, at Hawaii, Pacific out of the West Coast Conference, at Cal Baptist, who's one of the best teams in the WAC. And so, long story short, boss, just a really hard schedule, which is hard to go through. But at the end of the day, too, like when you play at Texas and at Arizona, and you get to your league and you're playing maybe like at Montana, which is one of the best teams in the league, great road environment, it doesn't affect you as much because you just played in front of, 9, 10, 12,000 people at Arizona. So I think the good part of it is when you walk into league, you've been battle tested. You played a bunch of hard games. You played a bunch of road games. So really trying to sell it to your guys that way, like, hey, this is not going to necessarily be fun. It's not going to be easy. But if we approach it the right way, it will help us in the league. And I think it has helped us so far.
I mean, seeing those different styles, different environments help because, like you said, you've played at a Power 5 place or a top WCC place. So, like, you're going up to Montana, or you go to Eastern Washington, who's been good for years, or anywhere, right. Or Coast play Sprinkle up there in Bossman. You're not worried about that because you've played at Arizona and these big places with all these different fans, and you've experienced that top level competition. So guess what? These guys aren't those guys we played against, so we can beat these guys.
Yeah, and I think the other thing that was crazy about this year is 9 of our first 11 games came down to the final possession, which was crazy. But of those, I think we won 5, lost 4. You put it down to the last minute. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Ball bounces one way or the other. But I think being in so many close games, we did play Sprinkle in Montana State. We did play Montana our first 2 league games. They came down to the final possession. Sprinkle and those guys, it was overtime, so it went all the way to that extra period. We were able to win both those games, and you can win or lose them, but being in those situations and being in close games early in our non-conference, you don't panic. If you're just playing teams that every game's a blowout, this, that, then all of a sudden you got a real game. It's hard, but we were in so many close games. And again, we won some, we lost some, but I do think that really helped us with our early season Big Sky games when they went down to the wire.
You kind of read my mind because I was asking you about that. Getting those live reps, you can put time on the clock in practice, but it's not the same intensity of seeing another jersey that's not your team. So, like, you got actually live repetition of close games, out of timeouts, in a close game situation. So, guess what? Playing in Boise, playing tough on the road at Sprinkle or at DeCure, you're not worried about it because we've already done it before. We're battle tested. We were good to go because I feel like too many times you can do it in practice all you want to, but see, as you get out there on the game court with referees and fans, you don't really see what you really have.
Yeah, like even today with this break, like we got this little section of special situations, like, hey, we're down 2, we're up 2, whatever. That's fine, and we learn that way, and that's important, to have a smart team. But there's no way to replicate the pressure of it happening in the game, and that clock's winding down and there's a minute left or whatever, and you've got to operate. You've got to not only execute, but you got to think the game. So, yeah, having those live reps, like you can't put a price tag on that.
No doubt. And also I feel like it's going to help you guys when you say, like, February and March, tight game, foul trouble, whatever can happen, COVID can happen, whatever. Guys have been through this already. They're not like, oh my God, my number's getting called. Like, They probably
Right.
had to play in a non-league or in the league at some point in time. So talk about that piece of it as well, getting the reps early so where guys can see it and learn from on film, practice and what have you. When it really counts, you have those guys already ready, and hopefully they're ready and they're mentally ready to come in and help you all guys if you need to call on them at that point in time.
Yeah, I think absolutely. And I think the thing that's even with this year with COVID that going along those lines is like the guys that aren't playing as much on your roster, trying to keep those guys ready to go. Cause as a coach, you're always saying, hey, be ready when your number's called, right? Like at some point your number's going to be called and you need to perform or it might not get called again. And that's true. But like with COVID last year and then this year again, we're telling guys that might not have played in the last 5-6 games, like we're one sneeze away from having 8 dudes and you going from not playing to playing 30 minutes. And that is realistic. And like we're showing those guys examples, even like league games where like if you have 7 healthy bodies, you're going to play in this league. So we might have 2-3 stars that go out, whatever, COVID, quarantines, isolations, whatever it is. And then those dudes that are good enough to play and help us out, but they just have not had that opportunity. You better be ready to go. And I think our guys have done a good job of that, but just the mentality is hard on those kids, right? You're working hard every day. You're not seeing it because you're not getting in the game. But then COVID and injuries as well. But like COVID could really decimate your roster. You got to be ready to go. So we're really trying to stress that to our guys. But it's definitely hard.
Yeah, I'm watching right there with Georgia Tech. COVID has derailed their momentum. Seriously, Josh had them going. They injury here, COVID here. You're losing record in the ACC. So and that's happening right with the Power 5 schools. I imagine at your level how it can affect if it's affecting them at that level the way it is right now.
And I think if and when that happens, which it seems like almost every team's going to go through this, right? But if and when that happens at our level in our league, it's like, okay, we got to find our way through this. But at the end of the day, we got to win 3 games in March. And that's how we're going to get to March Madness. So whether it's going really good or really bad, just trying to stay the course. Like I think with our team, we've proven that we can play with and beat the best teams in the league. And I think we're one of those teams. But, the Montana, Southern Utah, we beat Southern Utah. It was their first home loss in 3 years. It was like 673 days. They hadn't lost a game at home, and we beat them right after Christmas. So we've beaten some of the top teams. We know we can compete. What we don't know is COVID. Are we going to get shut down? Or are we going to lose a couple guys? Whatever. But you got to stay the course because at the end of the day, you got to win those 3 games in March to get to March Madness. And that's obviously the ultimate goal.
And you have veterans on your roster can do that for you. Like what's good about your team is, Steve, is this, man, brother, that you got veterans, man. Like people don't realize your team is dangerous because we have older guys who've been through those battles and battle tested. They're not scared of the big lights come March, and being there playing those three days is very key for your year.
Yeah, and we've kind of circled this year as a big year for us because we do have a lot of guys that have been in the program for a long time. Guys, like Bodie Hume, John Cooch, Matt Johnson, and then obviously got Dalen Koontz, who came in from CU a year ago. They're all the same age. They're in their 4th year of college, and so they're veteran. And we added some veteran depth in through the transfer portal with Drew Cookshausen, who's doing a great job. Dalton Connect, who's an older guy, and then even our younger guys that are like still technically freshmen, sophomores. They've been in the program 2 years. They know what to expect. So I think our experience and just our age, it's a big advantage for us if we use it correctly. The downside is when you got those older guys that have been in the program 4 years, they start to kind of get smart to like what practice is this, that, whatever. And they're going hard, but like you start to just kind of check those boxes, right? Like, okay, now we're doing this, now we're doing this, now we're doing this. And you can get a little bit lackadaisical. So our guys that have been in the program so long, they got to keep their edge. And they're doing a good job of that, but it's something you always have to watch out for, and you have to always be ready to fight.
And Dylan's playing great for you, man. 19 points a game, giving us scoring points, punch, opening up things for other guys with scoring because defense is looking to attack him, get it out of his hands. So, but you got 4 guys in double figures. So he's doing he's doing his thing too. But other guys are stepping up outside of him as well.
And that's the thing that, Dalen's doing a great job. I mean, he's definitely leading us scoring wise. And if teams want to help out on him, he's a more than willing passer. He's able to see who's open, put 2 on the ball, find that open guy. But yeah, because we do have 4, and I think we really have like 6 guys on any given night that can go score 15, 20. Dalen obviously is doing it. Bodie Hume, Matt Johnson, John Cooch, and then Drew Cookshausen, who had like 25 against Southern Utah, and then Dalton Connect, who like against Cal Baptist, he had 20. We had 6 guys that can really score. So the key is that the hardest thing is coexisting, right? And if it's not my night, but it's someone else's night, or if, a team's game plans to take me out, can I share with my teammate who he can score just as much? So, and our guys have done a nice job of that, but we have to constantly, continue to work on that. And it really does. This year, it started with Dalen on how well he's played. He's been tremendous. He's been so much more efficient, and he's just shooting the ball really well. Very, very talented kid that's playing really well.
And Kerr is giving you a lot of stuff inside as well, Coach. The rebounding punch he's giving you, defensive, offensively setting the standard for you guys, being an anchor for you guys as well, cleaning up mistakes for you. Talk about that young man's drive and resolve and what he's doing for you guys down low.
Yeah, and he's just gotten better every year. His stats go up every year. He's gotten better. I think in league play, he's shooting like 70% from the field. So in league play, he's finishing really well. But what he brings to us from a rebounding perspective, he's one of the best rebounders in the country. But then also defensively, like he's probably our best defender. We can switch him 1 through 5 if we need to. I don't like to do that because I want to keep him at the rim as much as possible to rebound. But he sets the standard in so many ways in terms of all the things. And he's another guy that he might score 15, he might score 4, and he doesn't care. It's all about winning for him. So he's just gotten better every year, but he's gotten to the point where we do run a lot of our offense on the block through him. But at the same point, we'll bring him out and play 5 out with him in the middle of that court where he's almost like kind of like a point center from time to time, making decisions. And again, it just gotten so much better. So now he is a massive piece of what we do, and he's turned into a really complete player.
And player development wise, I'm loving what you're doing because I'm looking at your stats, man. You got 7 guys from 30% downtown. I mean, having guys have to defend the whole court, be honest and close out to the 3. You can get the ball rotation again and find open 3 on the weak side there for open guys. So I love that you can shoot the ball from downtown, cause defense to have a conflict. What you gonna do? You can't take away everything. Pick your poison.
And that's always been a big thing in recruiting for us. Really the last 6 years I've been here when Coach Linder was here as well, that we want to start off with shooting. And if you can shoot from 4 spots, and if you can shoot from 5, it's even better. But if you can at least shoot from 4 spots, you should be really hard to guard. So like, as you look at the stats, like the offense isn't the issue. We've got to get better defensively. And that's been the emphasis that we've come up short, I think, defensively a little bit from time to time. When we're really locked in defensively, we're really good. When we start trading buckets, we're not that good. So I think the defensive ends where we have to make some ground up. But on that offensive end, yeah, boss. I mean, we're able to shoot from a lot of spots. And then if you're so worried about the shooting, a guy like Court, he's so good around the rim that you can just throw it in there and he's not going to get double teamed. So you really do have to pick your poison on how you want to guard us.
No doubt. I love having those multiple conflicts for defenses to have to decide what am I going to do tonight? I'm going to take away this and make them have that conflict. It's always a great thing there, brother. Yes, you know.
Yep. Yeah, no question. And that's the goal. Put the defense in a bind, make a choice, and then figure out what they're trying to do. And then you have to execute from that point on.
No doubt, man. Hey, you got 2 new young men coming to your roster, man, in Langston Reynolds and Brock Wisney there. I mean, tell me about those 2 young men coming to your program next year. What they'll bring to you guys, brother.
Yeah, we're really excited about both of them. First of all, both local products, in-state kids. Our roster won't be fully Colorado. That's not realistic. But the goal, since we've been here for the last 6 years, is to identify the best players in the state, try to get them. And it started off with a guy like Bodie Hume several years ago where he said yes to us before we even had a track record of winning or whatever. But, Brock and Langston, they both played a prep school called Colorado Prep. I think they're both, top 3 players in the state of Colorado, really good players. Brock's going to be good in the sense that he can play a 4 or 5. I think where he's most valuable is a 5 that can stretch the floor because he can shoot as well. And one thing we don't have on our roster right now is a 5-man that can shoot 3s. I think Brock can do that. I think he's tough. I think he's physical. He's going to be ready to go. And then Langston's like he's like a Swiss Army knife. He could probably play 1, 2, 3, 4. He's big, physical. He's about 6'4", probably 205, 210 right now. To be honest, we don't have a player on our current roster that fits the bill that what he fits physically. He is physical, athletic. I think where we really need him even right now is like defensively. He should be able to be an elite defender in our league. Offensively, plays a lot of spots, can really see the floor, can pass it, finishes at a high level, extremely athletic. Shooting-wise, he's developing as a much better shooter. But both those dudes are the type of kid we want to be around. They're extroverted. They love to hoop. You don't have to drag them into the gym. They're going to be in the gym either way. They want to get better, and they've proven that they're winning players. You know, their teams have always won, whether it's their club team, their prep team, their high school team. They are winners, and we want to be around winners. So we cannot wait to have both those kids on campus and coach them.
No doubt, Coach. I hope you have a great break here. You didn't ask for the break, but hope you have a great break, and I hope you keep winning it. Hope I'll see you get punched the big dance in March, man, because you deserve it, man. You've been working your butt off out there, but I watch you from afar, man. So, I'm a fan of yours for sure. So I'm definitely cheering for you, brother. Keep up the great work, my guy.
All right, boss. Appreciate you. Thanks for having me on the show. Anytime, man.
Thanks, brother. Thank you. Be safe, man.
Okay.
All right.
We'll see you.